ulti.TV.
To the 2012 Australian Ultimate Championships, we have here in pool play, we've got Firestorm from Brisbane and Colony Plunder. And they're just going straight away up from John McNaughton, caught by Dan Mammal, and easily passed into the end zone. Chris Brown with the score. 1-0 to Firestorm very quickly. All right, and the hut goes back up, or the pool even. Pete Allen with a deep pull. Tiger to catch it. Tiger swings it to Steve. Steve Antonopoulos. Big throw over to Joel Pillar. Winds up for the forehand, not there. Goes back to Potsy.
Steve Antonopoulos back to Rory, who's been moved down to Plunder to take care of the O-line on the squad.
Back to Alec. Alec sends it deep with a big inside-out forehand. Joel takes it just over Brian, and Joel throws it to Tiger, who jumps into the end zone.
Just like 2 seconds left. Jeez. There's a lot of shit going. Run down the score, let's go! Go Plunder! Here we go. Tom Tight, Cupcake with a big backhand.
And that one is floating just out of bounds. Reece Stewart watches it float out.
Guys, Cupcake looks like he's beefed up a bit. Has he been spending a bit of time in the gym or just been spending some more time with those cupcakes?
More pies.
More pies.
Way too many pies. The ladies, it'll be interesting to see how Cupcake goes at the party this weekend. Bit of a ladies' man, but after eating a few too many pies, we'll see how it goes this time.
And I think Colony's picked a black jersey this Nationals because it looks more slimming.
Ready! Hands out, Mark. Come on, big Mark.
J-Mac for Smokestorm, that's their alternate team. Fakes the backhand, swings it across to Coops, who dances around, can't get rid of it. J-Mac fakes up the line and gets it backwards. Swings it back to Coops. And getting it caught there, but J-Mac finds it up the line. Very static movement up the field for Firestorm. Swing just between J-Mac and Coops. Coops swings it across to Dan Mammal, who played in a successful UPA championship team.
Colony certainly have the downfield pressure sorted out. They know who our throwers are. They know who wants to put it. We might just have to see some surprise packages throwing it up like Coops, the man who probably hucked it as many times as he didn't show up to training, so maybe 4 or 5 the whole season. I recall about 4 completed hucks in our last game from him.
And Reece sends a long one to J-Mac. He ends up being quite open.
Who is it who did have a man on him, but was immediately poached as soon as he got the disc to help out the end zone?
And Jangles with the score. All right, Brian Grundy with the big pull. Firestorm leads 2-1. All still no Ds yet in this game. And it swings just back in, just inside the end zone. Picked up by Tiger, swung straight across to Steve. Gets it across to Callan. Holds the disc for a while, gets it through to Joel Pillar in the middle. Quick give and go. Up to Rory, who whips a big floater up. Callan and Nick Gow come down with the disc both at the same time. Swings it across back to Tiger. Joel puts a bit of a shove in there. Swings it straight across to Tiger.
He is from Adelaide.
Yep, we all know Adelaide people cheat.
What are you talking about, cheat, guys? He's getting old. He can do these things now.
And Trevor with the big D on Potsy, but we got a foul on the throw.
Foul on the hammer.
If the throw doesn't come off, you may as well call a foul.
Another Adelaide tactic.
Are you kidding? That's the Pete Gardner school of throwing right there.
But nonetheless, impressive to Trev to make up that ground and get on that D. I don't believe it was it his originally, man?
Yeah, it was his man.
Okay, either way, it was a breakside shot. He got across there. One of the tall timbers of Firestorm.
Tap back in, Joel puts it up the line. Oh, and I imagine we're going to get Jangles with an ankle clip. Tiger calls the foul. Foul called, returns to the throw. Big thumbs up from the crowd. Big shout out to Dan the Man Mammal.
The vegan of Firestorm.
So swung back over to Steve Antonopoulos. No, that's not a stutter.
Guys, I think it's Antonopoulos.
No, I think you're wrong. Joel puts up the field back to Antonopoulos, who swings big floaty throw across to Callan. Across to Fox in the middle, and big bladey shot, and fantastically caught by Joel Pillar on the sideline. 2-all. Alright, Cupcake with a big inside-out backhand pull. That one looks like it's going to float not only out the back, but in the sidelines as well. No, it's kept in. Coops with the catch. Across to J-Mac, across to Reese. Puts up a big floaty forehand. Pete Allen, certainly in prime position, easily runs it down, well in front of his man. Very stationary, and straight into John McNaughton. 3-2 to Firestorm. Reese with another big inside, outside in even, backhand pull. Comes down, caught by some guy who I don't know who it is. Swings across to Tiger, across to Antonopoulos. Quick move from Malik.
That's Matt Oswald, guys.
Matt Oswald?
Yes.
Oh, J-Mac gets a figure on it, but can't quite get the D. Across to Alec. Alec, the South Australian favourite son, despite the fact he hasn't been there for about 3 years. Across to Tiger. Across to Antonopoulos. Callan holds the disc. Short throw into Tiger. Joel Pillar with the disc, well covered by John McNaughton and Kohler. And Callan down the line. To Matt Oswald. Across to Antonopoulos. To Pillar. Struggling a bit to get into the end zone. Some good defence by Firestorm. Across to Callan, back to Joel. Breaks to Alec. Swings back to Tiger. Back to Matt. Back to Tiger. Certainly not the most exciting play. Dumps back to Joel. Back to Callan.
It's a bit hard to tell whether the Firestorm has actually transitioned out of their 2-3-2 to a man. It looks like they're still in it. It's holding well, but it's more of a conservative D. And Colony, not the guys to be playing conservative against.
John McNaughton with another big layup bid. Didn't get a hand on it this time. Back to Tiger. They're slowly losing a little bit of ground, but most of that's been made up. Antonopoulos holds. Very loose on the mark. Makes it very tough. Tiger swings it across to Oswald. Back to Tiger. Yes, that is his real name. Across to Antonopoulos. Back to Pillar. Fakes the hammer. Doesn't quite get it. Big inside out. Yep. Big inside out. Bladey forehand. Back to Tiger. Back to Joel. Up to about 50 passes. None of the commentary team has got excited yet. And a fantastic catch by Callan in the corner.
But a very boring point.
All right, Mark Evans with the big pull. Caught by Coops at the back of the end zone. And across to Jangles, looking like a transition zone with the Colony with the count. Fanny swings across to Jangles, back to Coops. Looked long. J-Mac was open long, but didn't throw it there. Into Man Baby. Yes, he's a man and he's a baby. Across to Pete. Across to Fatty. Fatty, gets some piece on the disc. Jangles throws it deep. Man Baby's got to make up the distance, and he does. Yet again, no Ds. 4-3 to Firestorm.
Nice shot, Jangles.
Yeah, Jangles. All right, the pull goes up from Reese. Caught by Tiger. Swung across to Steve. Some bloke was in the way, couldn't see. Swung across to Potsy. At the line to Nick. Trevor runs onto the mark. Looks like Firestorm's got their 2-3-2 zone happening once again.
What's the basis behind this zone, guys?
The zone basically causes a lot of forces the disc back to the middle, causes a bit of confusion. There's the first D for the game. Pete Allen with a big sky. And the huck from Reese. Finn gets up, and there's the break. 5-3 Firestorm. So Firestorm certainly looking the goods, up 5-3. Wasn't looking so good after Coops got hand blocked, and then Callahan on the first point of the tournament. So certainly a big improvement since then. Back on the 2-3-2 zone, Jangles with the tough job in the middle. The short deep position, I guess. Potsy swings it back across to Tiger. Zone very played quite a lot through Queensland actually. It's the new hot thing. It's one
very popular by Slamtown Flatball Club through the BPL. They are here on the weekend, but we'll see if they can pull it off as good as Firestorm's doing.
Big gainer up through to Alec, swings across to Tiger, up to Joel Pillar, who dumps it back to Tiger, back through to Rory. There is that small weakness in the zone when it comes through. You can get the short 5-metre gainer, which not only resets the count, but also gets it. And Joel Pillar gets it to Callan. 5-4 to Firestorm.
Colin needed that one.
All right, Colony sends the pull up, and that's going long. It's going deep. It's going long. It's going long, and it's slid just out the back. It's going to be Brick.
Throw something of a stupid nature. Attacks the break side, sends it over to Fatty. He's looking. It's Fatty on Fatty. You don't see that often. Queensland has a Fatty, and so does Sydney. There you go. He's put it across to Reese. Swung it all the way over to Coops. Reese found a little gap there and uses the Scuba as his first option. We are looking to move it off the sideline here. Holding it a bit on the sideline too long. Very much a handle-dominated game. Not looking like there's too much popper action happening. Coops puts in about 5 fakes before he gets one off. There's a very, very strong mark on there by Matt Faulkner. Back to Coops on the sideline. And Scuba's all around. Back to Fatty. That's Brisbane Fatty. Deed by Jimmy Todd Hill, the low hammer. Mark Evans with the disc. Jangles on the mark. Straight over to a poach. Right, over to Lukey, poached by Reese. Firestorm need to get on these dumps, stop poking in the stack.
Bit cold.
Come on, Plunder, you will get free if you work.
Alright, disc back in. Luke looking for the break option straight away, not on. Reese on a very tight mark. Over to Mark Evans. Cupcake trying to work the middle, didn't get there. Shut down by Coops. And around. Back to the middle with Cupcake. Looks around again. Mark Evans back with the disc. And a break shot down the line to Luke. So 5-all. And we're back on with Coops receiving the pull. Putting it upfield to Johnny Mack in the middle. Colony have realised this zone is pretty effective here, so they've calmed down with their poppy fence again. Little give and go up there with Trevor and Coops. Coops looking for a man. There's a lot going on, but not much being free. Johnny Max put over a hammer to Mammal. Trev with the disc. It's 3-on-3 at the backfield. People running through, a lot of mess. And Trev back to Coops in safe hands there. Johnny Mack looking to put some more pie over the top. Gives it back to Coops. Over with our Texan import Brian Grundy, and Johnny Mack with a sweet little backhand to, who's that, Chris Brown? Chris Brown has made an excellent step up from the B team last year. Mr. Reliability instead of Mr. Liability. Reece Stewart to pull after that little timeout. Firestorm up 6-5. Puts up the big floaty outside in backhand. His favourite pull.
Apart from the pull which goes out.
Yeah, they happen a bit too often. Joel Poyler looking to put it up. Gives it to Nick. Nick back to Potsy. There's a bit of a scrimmage happening with the handlers in Colony. And in the middle as well. Pick called with about 5 players all cutting in different directions.
Disc was in the air. Disc was in the air. So Alex, fantastic total line, keeps the disc in. As it goes across to Nick, swings it across to Potsy. Looks up the line, back to Rory. He's hit the gym continually for his entire life. He wasn't born that size, but he did come out with a dumbbell. Alec floats it back to Antonopoulos, but a pick was called. Goes back to Alec.
About stall 5.
Disc is coming in on stall 6, thanks to Finn on the field for that one. Alex swings it right across the field, across to Potsy with a big break. Potsy back in the middle to Pillar. Holds it, holds it, holds it, holds it into Tiger. And yet another call. The stack seems to be reasonably clear for this one, but still a pick came. I'm assuming it was a pick came about from it.
It's interesting, this matchup here. Pete Allen on Tiger makes you wonder if that was what was called on the line. If so, who's the tall guy running around on Colony? It didn't seem to make a difference. Either way, that's evens now on 6. Colony back up. Alright, Mark Evans pulling the Firestorm, who are on serve 6s. Dan Mammal, our Carlton American import. Into Junior. Back to Mammal. Back to Junior. Over to Johnny Mack. Expect something weird. Johnny Mack pushed it through to Coops. Winds up for the big one. Cuppers stops it. Dumps back to Reese.
Colony's now transitioning into the man.
John calling for people in. The stack's pretty horrendous. And so are our deep cuts. Cupcake again shuts down the huck to a streaking Reese Stewart. Coops up the field to man baby. Dan Mammal out the back to bail him out. Straight away over to John. There's not a lot happening downfield. Colony are very, very wary of John getting the disc and tightening down quite well, only forcing unders.
Reese now has the disc, closely marked by Luke. Floats it back to J-Mac in the high dump. J-Mac and throws his low backhand, and there's the third D for the game. So picked up by Mark Evans, who sends it into the end zone. Colony leads 7-6. There's the first break with Colony up.
All right, Mark Evans pulling, Colony up, 7-6. Now, keen viewers might notice the ex-Colony player Abra standing on the sidelines for Firestorm. He's unfortunately tweaked his hamstring on Tuesday. We are hopefully and likely to see him back on field for day 2.
Seems quite unlikely. He's got a bit of a tear. Tried the warm-up, a couple of games going, didn't work. So that just adds to the woes of hamstring injuries and general injuries across the Firestorm squad. As Reese sends up a big, fantastically indeed. Colony player back into Mark Evans in the middle. The Firestorm's had a bit of a horrific run with injuries, already down to 13 players just at the end of day 1. We've had Jack Lewell, the man standing beside me, go down with a shoulder, myself, the awesome Christian Davis, done with a hammy.
They're very notorious in only Adelaide.
Abra with a hammy, Colony as the hut goes up. Gav Moore can't quite chase it down. So we've also had beat up. I don't even actually know his real name.
Brenton Williamson, an ex-Gimpy boy now playing at UQ.
Didn't even know his name, but he's done an ankle. And
yes, Gimpy. It's not a pun. I'm not that bad.
And there's been a few other injuries throughout, so that's all that we've got. Oh, and Chris Cunliffe, the dingo for Firestorm, has done his back as well.
All right, Pete Allen to Sky Gav Moore. Beautiful read and box out there by Pete Allen. Jangles to Pete. 7-0. All right, very deep pull from Firestorm, and it's a brick by Potsy. All right, Potsy being marked by Fatty. Breaks across to Tiger. Fatty still on. Looks like a 2-3-2 by Firestorm. Throws a little scuba over to Steve Antonopoulos. He puts up the line to Pillar. Quite a successful cut there for Pillar. Pillar hammer all the way across the field. Over to Alec. Everyone's still catching up. It wasn't just the D running behind that disc. Tiger and Potsy keeping it between themselves up on the left side. Steve Antonopoulos playing very conservative collie. Through to Rory. Up to Steve. Bit of a collision there. And straight back to Rory, who had a bit of a collision with Kohler, put him off balance, but there was nothing in it. So that opened up a little gap for the goal. 8-7, Colony takes half.
All right, fantastic game we've got going here. 8-7 to Colony. This will be for top of the pool. A lot of emotion in both huddles. The Firestorm huddle, Abra was the injured Abra was very much talking about not letting it go. As teams have had in the past. Steve Antonopoulos and sends it to Joel Pillar. Gets himself open in the end zone. A lot of emotion there. 10-8 to Colony. Alright, big pull, here it comes from Mark Evans. There's a lot of emotion directed at him during the half-time huddle. He was saying that every time he's on the field he needs to get a block. Pause for obvious reasons. So Colony leads 10-8 now. Pete Allen gets a big gaining undercut into Man Baby through the middle. Into Jangles, big contact, and that's a foul call. And it looked stomped on and copped in the face. And there's that emotion that Potsy was talking about, or we were talking about Potsy. And there's the other man, there's Abram. The two aggressive men from each team following each other down the sidelines. Stay away from that matchup. Jangles throws it across to Coops. Coops steps back. Has that low set squash. He does love his squash. Missed a few Firestorm trainings to play squash. And Pete with a low hammer. It's now, everyone learns that one when you go to Brisbane. It's the low flat J-Mac hammer.
In this case, the low flat hammer to the ground. The Jim Garvey hammer. I will admit, I'm a bit young for that one. I do know who Jim Garvey is, but I'm not old enough to have actually witnessed one. Thanks, Dan. I imagine it'd be much like a Buzz Thumber or a hammer. We've got this strong matchup with Johnny Mac and Cupcake. They keep quite close to each other, and they seem to be doing a good job of shutting each other's hucks down. So we'll see who else can be the creator of the play.
No poach, boys. Big D.
So Colony on 0 with a shot to go up 3 points, which is going to be the biggest lead in the game so far. Got Dan Mammal on the mark. Pete and Gav match up. Here we go. Johnny Mac and Cupcake going long. See who can get up. Cupcake with plenty of space out in front. Takes a big grab. Keeps it in. That's 11-8 Colony. And Johnny Mac and Jangles look a bit down out the back there.
Let's go, Fire. Come on. Gotta keep working, boys.
Right, Mark Evans with the pull, and that one's going out of bounds in the end zone. Always looked like out, but there's a small chance it was going to come back in. Walking up with the disc now. Called a fusion. One of the plays doesn't come off. Dan Mammal swings across with the disc, gets very, very, very stuck, but Fatty gets himself open big high. Fatty. There's a player in the way and looks like a foul call. Cupcake got up very, very big. So, pick was called well and truly before the throw by the looks of things. So, this goes back to Dan Mammal, probably on about stall 1.
Don't rest on your laurels, you don't fucking have any. Boys, you got to shut down those handlers, boys. Jimmy at the moment, only on your right. Jimmy, only on your right at the moment. Under, stay under, boys. On the right.
This is coming back in and stalling 6, 7, 8. Gets the throw away to Fatty. Gets it this time, fakes it over the shoulder of Gavin Moore, I think that is. Oh, and a big D from Jimmy. Gets fired up early, got the easy layup block earlier, got himself fired up and got that big important D, and gets it in the end zone. That's going to be, I think, 12-8 to Colony.
Let's go, Plunder!
Right, Colony Plunder now leading 12-8. Mark Evans with another big inside-out backhand. Colony has put what appears to be a bit of a power line on. So Reese puts it forward to J-Mac. Back across to Reese. Reese winds up, sends up a big backhand. Jangles is in prime position and gets himself up and takes the nice catch and throws it straight into Pete. That's 12-9. Firestorm remains in this game. All right, so Firestorm, turns out the score is actually 11-8, 12-9 as we previously stated. So certainly still in this game as Reese sends the big pull across to Potsy. Potsy swings it across to Antonopoulos. The anonymous man himself sends it up. And Callan sends a big long disc, and there is no way Joel is going to chase that one down. This is the break that Firestorm needs. They're going to have to convert this one if they want a chance at winning the game.
Who will give you a free prostate exam if you ask him. Who've got Reece Stewart back, Jangles initiating, Johnny Mack coming down with the disc. Jangles, for some reason, turns around when he was wide open deep. Comes back and receives it under. Reece Stewart's heading long, confusing Steve Antonopoulos and running into him. Not sure what's going on there. Nice breakout cut there from Brian. All the way down to Kohler, who is wide open in the end zone. Beautiful work by the Italian stallion and the Texan, Dr. Grungles.
All right, so Dr. Grundles, remember those free prostate exams. Sends the big pull down to Antonopoulos, across to that guy who trips over. That's pretty embarrassing.
Saving Trev the hassle of chasing him deep.
That'll go on the low lights reel. Alec gets up high, big catch. And Kohler on the... Oh, there we go. There's another one for the low lights reel. And Tiger sends one deep, and Pete Allen absolutely gains the ground. Gets a big catch D in the end zone. So Pete runs to the line. Rory basically does some kind of shimmy on the mark and then knocks Pete over, but Dr. Grundles gets it up. Asks for the line to be cleared, but sends it back right across the field to Finn, who's a mile open. Across to Reese, who gets a bit of a bump, and a second bump from Tiger, and Reese does the whole, I've been hit, I'm going to walk away. And it's not a travel, it's just a foul.
And Tiger has bowed his head in shame, realising that Reese doesn't play dirty.
Does it across to Coops. Swings it across to Pete. Peter got that D. Oh, Trev stacks it. That's the third stack we've seen this point, but he still manages to hold on to the disc. Looking like, and Coops with a nice dump cut. Gets across to Dr. Grundles, who sends it up deep. We got Junior on Alec, and Junior gets up. Firestorm 11-10 down. They get the break back. They're almost back to level. Fantastic game we got going here. All right, so J-Mac sends a big pull, going down nice and deep. 11-10. currently to Colony. Lands just in. Tiger Cat's in. That may have floated out. Across to Potsy in the middle. Kohler puts the mark on. Gets down nice and low. Potsy sends it up big and deep. We got Rory on 2. Brian Grundy can't quite get a hand on it. Swings it across back to Alec. Alec inside out to Callan. 12-10 to Colony. Mark Evans, the youngest dingo, sends up the pull, and that could be floating out the back. Crowd gets in the way. No, Reese catches it in the back corner to someone who I can't see who it is. Johnny Mack. The crowd is certainly getting involved right on the sideline. The crowd, or even the players on the sideline, can't see anything. Across to Coops. I'm being pushed closer to the sideline. Oh, and a very simple drop there from Johnny Mack. That could almost be the game. Hate saying that, but Cupcake swings it across to Gav Moore, who still in his stride, throws it into the end zone, and a travel has been called.
I think Gav has landed on his left, put his right foot down, taken the left up, and thrown it. Some might argue that the right foot was the pivot foot, but really it's a bit iffy. Anyway, it's come back. Gav's put up a little push pass to Mark Evans for the score, which makes it 13-10 Plunder.
Go for it, gotta get it back.
Mark Evans pull there, being received by Brian Grundy. Sent it up to Johnny Mack. Not a lot going on. There seemed to be a little bit poachy through the middle there. Shredded through to Jangles. Put outside to Reese. Reese has bombed it up, and that's a hand block by Jimmy Todd Hill? Yeah, that was Jimmy, not Cuppers. Cuppers ain't that tall. Alright, Jangles run down the mark. Mammal on the dump. There's not a lot being generated downfield here. Mark Evans looking to put it up to Cupcake. Jangles and Cupcake, but it's out in front. And that, I believe, is just a turn by Cupcake. Couldn't close his hand on it. He was very, very close to the back line there. He may have tried to just keep himself in and let the disc get a bit far away from him. Again, very surprising speed. Running pretty much even with Jangles there, with all those pies jiggling around inside him.
Johnny Mack floating. Now he's got the disc. Camouflage pants, can't even see his legs. So he's still just coming on. It's going to be tough to call him with a travel. You can just see a couple of orange boots just floating around. Reese went deep there. Certainly something Gio's never seen before.
But he was ultimately looked off by John, as he'd already sailed past the opposing brick mark before anyone really saw him.
Reese has now managed to come well and truly under to get the disc, something also which hasn't been seen in the Gio household.
All right, Colony with a tight little zone at the back there. Pete's put it up the line to Trev, who has an opportunity to huck but holsters it. He's a very conservative player these days, old man Trev. Doesn't want to upset any good people. Here we go, Johnny Mack with a disc on the sideline. Pops up something a bit funny to Pete. Pete swings it around to Stewart. Reese puts up another bomb. Here we go. Gavmore versus the Texan, Dr. Grundles. Oh, and there's a call there. Looks like a little bit of push and shove after a strong box out. Bit of a physical play there. The hand-on-hand touch looked a bit iffy, but it might have been, I think, just pushing him forwards.
It's all about offsetting your opponent, a bit of hand-on-hand touching. The Doctor's not used to that, and threw him off his game to get the
bit
catch.
of hand-to-hip touching. Anyway, Cupcake has something to say, whether he had perspective or not. He's asking anyone on the sideline whether they'd like to contest their own teammate's call. So he's quite the nice fellow.
Reese wiping his hands, certainly made that long deep cut and had to come under and now has to wipe his hands. Possibly wiping his hands that throw, but anyway, fakes it. Oh, gets a hand on it with the Colony defender is J-Mac swings it back across to old man Trev, who's moved into a handling role. He's got the promotion. Back to J-Mac, going Reese. Oh, no, puts the fake in, threw off, I'm sure, the cameraman, the commentators, and all the people on the field. Backs in to Jangles, who doesn't have an option. Bit of a slap on the disc there, could have been a contact. J-Mac doesn't quite have to lay out. It's going to be tough to lay out with no legs, but does it anyway. And Reese, there we go, there's the bomb. Sends it up, and Gav Moore backs in and takes it well just in front of Pete.
And that is a we have a drop. That looked like it was down. Mammal's obviously called it down. Whoever it was has actually picked it up and thrown it straight past his man regardless.
So either way, it should be a Firestorm disc. It's just a matter of where it is, and it was called down on the first one.
And that is absolutely in no way a biased opinion by Christopher Davis here. Alright, yep, it's an uncontested turn. There's obviously a lot of other Colony players on the field, bar the man who tried to catch it, who agree. Johnny Mac to pick up the disc, just taking his time.
So our fellow ulti.TV crew member getting in the way there with his camera, but that's all right. J-Mac picks it up, goes to Reese, who sends it up the line to Pete. Cross to J-Mac. Bit of a mess of players here. The Smokestorm jerseys getting in the way, and Reese throws it.
Reese throws the scuba to Gav Moore, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Very low percentage option, and you just can't do that at this stage of the game. Need a cooler head than that.
Yes, Reese does love the scuba. Often he takes it as his first option over a backhand. We've got Jangles diving on the ground, not often seen to stop a Cuppa's huck. It's been moving up the line quite successfully here. Firestorm haven't really managed to force it back in the middle or keep it on the sideline. So there's a travel call about 3 passes back on Jimmy Todd Hill.
Certainly a very crucial point here. Score at 13-10. It's one of those long points that the winner certainly gets a big boost. If Colony is to win this one, they'll take them up 14-10. They'll pretty much be the ball game. But if Firestorm can win the point, then it brings them back to 13-11 and gives them some hope still. So Jimmy Todd Hill throws it up the line to Mark Evans, who throws it up to Gav Moore. Sends a big crossfield hammer. Cupcake, massive layout. Couldn't quite do it. You can hear the cameraman, but can't quite get to it. Picked straight up by Dr. Grundy. Big outside in forehand. Trev, waits on the disc and a big D there. And we have a foul.
Trev's called a foul, but out of all the Colony screaming, there's a... Oh, it's a foul on the throw. Okay, it's a foul, apparently by Cupcake on Dr. Grundles.
Should explain the big short outside in forehand, which wasn't really to anyone's advantage. That being said, Trev probably still should have taken that catch, but couldn't quite get up to that height with his walking stick in his other hand.
Certainly need to put more body in between him instead of leaving the good run up open.
Most of his body has withered away, and there's a 3 attempt at grabs at that one, and Johnny gets the hand block. That
looked like it was out of the hand. Contested by John. You can see him. He's not too happy with that call. Mark Evans with a big grin on his face.
Gav Moore sends it up to Jimmy Todd Hill, who can't get it into the end zone. A couple of open players there.
Nice fall over mark by Reece Stewart. We've got Jangles and Cuppas. Cuppas usually expect to see something really wide and break. Jimmy Todd Hill steals one from Mark Evans. Loves his stats. Johnny Mac marking Mark. See what he's got. And he throws up a break option, for which Joey Long ducks and leaves the disc for Gav. He could have taken it, but he's milked that throw even further and let Gav have it for the score. Joey Long, team player.
Finn sends a big Oh, well-weighted throw. Yeah, Dr. Grundy keeps it in. Mark Evans, obviously one of our fellow commentators. Big props to the work he does. I'm sure he knew what was happening. And Finn sends a big crossfield throw to Chris Brown. He gets the disc in, 14-12.
So, Spesh and Jack have been kicked off the commentary by Abra, the team captain. He wants them on the sideline cheering his team on because they feel they're in this game still. That pull is really big, and that has hit the cone perfectly. That has got to be one of the best shots in Ultimate. Johnny Mack taking the assignment on Jonathan Potts. Pottsy elects to throw open side. Alec Deslanders. Alec throws a break out to Antonopoulos. Pick called on the throw there. So they just come back to Alec. Antonopoulos being marked by the Italian stallion. I'm not sure what his name is, but apparently that's his nickname. Antonopoulos looks off the initial dump, throws an open side to Joel Pillar. Joel, the South Australian import. I think he's loving being on such a strong team. Gets the dump, throws it around immediately, and call on the field. No idea what that call was.
Target clear! Target clear! Come on, Brian!
So Joel taps the disc in, throws it around again. Callan with the disc now. Has a look up the field. Antonopoulos has a look. Antonopoulos elects to take shots normally. Joel Pillar has been working well downfield as a big cutter. And Antonopoulos gets the reset. Steve has been driving this offense. And Tiger hasn't been able to get a dunk. You hit Joel Pillar again underneath. Throwing it outside in. Gets blocked by Peter Allen, I think. Excuse me if I got that name wrong. Johnny McNaughton gets the disc and puts it up deep. Jangles. Adam Bowe gets the disc. He is incredibly fast. Normally when he gets out in front, you can't track him down. Saw that there. Looking for Firestorm to reset, and it's been put out in front. And no dice. Just short. Ran away from Tiger Webb. Reece Stewart is calling an injury. Fatty will come on for him. Fatty from Firestorm, that is. This is called in. So Pottsy bringing it up. Johnny McNaughton on the mark. Potts likes his hammers. Throws the middle of the field. Joel Pillar throws through the mark. Cal Spillman. Spillman throws a break to Webb. Webb being marked by Fatty. Webb throws open side to Potts. Throws a dunk to Connell. And Connell has thrown an uncontested block to Jangles. Firestorm now get another shot at it. And whoa, straight in front of Potts' nose. It's been called not in. McNaughton now needs to look to score. Throws it around. On the far sideline, Fatty with the disc. Oh my lord. Throws a break in and calls. No, he hasn't called anything. He hasn't called a foul. That was an incredibly unwise decision there. Alec Deslanders on this near sideline with a disc. Throws out in front to Joel. Joel Pillar with the disc. He's got big throws. He might look to throw this score here. Doesn't. Tiger Webb pivots onto the left. Potts. Pillar. Colony win. And that's the game. Firestorm. Valiant fight, but couldn't get there in the end. See Colony too good. They just get away with it. take the win and move forward into day 2 undefeated as far as I know. Thank you for joining us. We'll be going and covering the showcase game now. Bye.